to story time. This one is called History Slaps. It all happened on a dark and... Oh, come on. Alright, fine. I guess we're going somewhere else. Let's see how many of you understand this reference. Alright. So, as I said before, this one is called History Slaps. No, it did not happen on a dark and stormy night. But, so I was in high school. I was in history class. And in this history class, we had an older history teacher. Now, we had all the chair setup, so let me explain the setup to you. It's almost like a normal classroom where, so I'm going to do it from my point of view. Off to the, when you first walk in, you've got a bookshelf on the left, you have rows of desks, and they're all just set up, and off to the side, there's a little bit of a stand. The teacher has his desk, his stuff over there, and then at the front, there's the chalkboard, and then there's a podium. Now, this teacher would use the podium to get up and teach all the time. That was his way of teaching for us. Now, those of you who have been into a high school, these desks were very similar probably to what you had. We had the plastic desk, the plastic chair, and then the desk was connected to the chair by a slim metal rod. So most of the time, so if you're sitting on the desk, you can do it this way, or because we wanted to be cool and relaxed, we would turn like this and just lean against that back bar and just whatever and hang out. This also meant that you got to see the fellow students, but you couldn't see what was happening normally to the side of you. Now, this history teacher and myself always went back and forth verbally. He would say something smart aleck, I would say something smart aleck back. It was probably more of I would say something smart aleck and he would say something sarcastic or smart aleck back. I tended to talk back a lot when I was younger. Not rudely, but just trying to make stupid little jokes or whatever. I wish I was as funny as I remember being. So we were always going back and forth. Well, one day in class, he said something, I said something back, or probably vice versa. I probably started it and said something to him. He said something back, and you could tell he was getting really annoyed. I wasn't trying to make him mad. I was just trying to have fun verbally. So, older guy comes up, and he goes, "Oh!" And all the students are watching. But he comes up, and he just... And I said, I'm kind of squinting, and I went, "Go ahead." I said, "I do deserve it, just please not in the face." Like, I deserve it, go ahead. And I'm doing this, waiting. And I look out, and he's put his hand down, and he's walked away. And I thought, oh, I really made him angry, and I didn't mean to. But whatever, life goes on. So, we're still learning about history. We go through, read our textbooks, everything like that. And it gets to the point where we're supposed to do our in-book work. So we're all doing our work, and it gets close to the time when class is almost out, but also he usually gives us time to converse with each other and to talk about what we found, talk about the work, collaborate. So at this point, I had turned in my chair like this, and I'm talking to my fellow students, and I'm just kind of leaning against the back bar, not thinking anything. And I watch as the history teacher, slowly, as he's been sitting down, he gets up, and you can tell he's thinking. And he gets up and he slowly wanders to his podium, does whatever he needs to, moves some papers around. We kind of look up at him and then go back to talking. Nonchalantly, he walks around. Now, I'm on the very end of this row, meaning that there's probably a good 5 or so feet of space between me and the wall, and at the very back, there's that bookshelf. So people going past me to get to the bookshelf happens all the time. So I'm sitting like this, and the history teacher is walking along the front, and he walks down this back. And I'm, like I said, in this very front corner part. So he walks past, out of my peripheral vision, and I'm in about mid-sentence when my brain registers, wait a second, the footsteps stopped. And as my brain is trying to figure out, wait a second, those footsteps stopped, like, behind me. Because I was expecting, to keep hearing them going down. Footsteps stop. And one or two students kind of look over. And just as this is all starting to bubble up in my brain, I'm going, wait, where is I feel a hand. Not bad, but it was still funny. I feel a hand just, BAM! Yes, you get sound effects. Unless you can hear this. My head flies forward like it just did. And then I get back up. And I look behind me. And the history teacher is doing this and goes, oh, that felt good. And then he looks over at the students. And all the students, he's looking at them. They're all staring at me, waiting to find out what's going to happen. Am I going to yell? Am I going to start crying? Am I going to act like nothing happened? Am I going to storm out and go see the principal? Because that was really, you can get fired over that, especially nowadays. Granted, this was years ago, but still. So all the students are staring at me, kind of waiting to see what I'm going to do. And about 3 seconds after getting smacked, this was my reaction. So I'm facing towards the students. My head comes back up and I went, oh yeah, I totally deserve that. And I went back to talking and doing the assignment. And you could tell the teacher, as he slowly walked away, he kind of stopped and goes, are you okay? I said, yeah, I totally deserve that. You're good. Don't worry. But you could see the panic and the worry in his eyes as I just slapped a student in the back of the head. Now, if any of you are parents, or you've been in high school now, you know that I could have easily gotten that teacher fired. But I deserved it. I knew I deserved it. I never told any other teachers, never told any staff, didn't matter. But the students, once I went and started laughing, they all burst out laughing because they knew I had deserved that. But they also wanted to make sure that I wasn't going to yell and run out of the room because that would cause a panic. So, moral of this story is, and yes, we still got along fairly well. I still bantered back and forth with him, though maybe a little bit less. He was a nice guy enough. Moral of this story: pay attention in history class, but also know if you are pissing off the teacher or if you are simply having friendly banter. I thought mine was friendly banter, but I've never had friendly banter with anyone that really wanted to smack me badly enough to actually do it. So, pay attention in class. Make sure your friendly banter is just friendly banter and you're not making anybody mad. However, the other big moral of the story is, if you knew you deserved something, take it. Now, that doesn't mean you should take everything, but if you know that you deserved a small beatdown or whatever, that's life. Sometimes you just gotta accept it and say, you know what, I deserve that. So, that's my story time, and like and subscribe if you want to. Leave me a comment down below if you want me to tell one of your stories. Comment about it. Share with a friend. Have a great day.